minor 7. I like that. That bridge part E, it has a little bit more drama. With my like head. I don't know why I want to hear that, but with my head. That's good. Yeah, jumping on that head. With my E, with my head. But let's just run through it and see how it goes. I can always sing over whatever tempo it is. I mean, as long as it sounds like
you want to make sure we get the right feel.
Yeah, exactly. It's very mournful. It's hopeful, but it's also very somber. What's there up above? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Am I getting old? Do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. What am I? That was your idea. What am I to do? You don't necessarily for the third one have to do that, but for those two, I think, what's there up above? Da, 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 da. Am I getting old? Da, 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 da. Don't end necessarily. Go on and get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's kind of, even though we went on for quite a bit, but I figured we're going to fade it out. But I envision like the orchestra just getting like really just bigger and bigger, and you getting even more intricate as you go along. It's something all people fear, losing their mind. And I think you kind of know when you've gone over the edge. And certainly I remember the first time. One July 4th in 1989, my mother was hosting a barbecue. And we were in the backyard, and she was barbecuing weenies and hamburgers, and my nephew and a family friend were playing chess. And all of a sudden, after smoking and drinking or whatever we were doing, I found myself, it just hit me just like that. And I looked over to him, the family friend, while he was engaged in the game of chess. I said in my mind, you can read my mind, can't you? And he just very quickly, but not too quickly, but just went up and went like that, as if to equate, I can hear you. And that just blew my mind. Total coincidence, of course, but when you're on the edge, all you need is a little bit of something to push you over, and that's what it was. And I just flipped out right after that. Flipped out in the sense that I escorted him out of the house and proceeded to methodically go insane. Eventually putting my nephew out a couple months later. I stopped working, I stopped painting, over a period of several months after that, I just kind of devolved into a very sick person. I'm going to give you guys some background on the place, then we're going to see some of the artists working in their studios. That's a good thing to kind of be here and see what the place is like kind of as it's happening. But this used to be the kitchen and dining room to the entire hospital, and it was built in the 1920s. And they used to march the patients through breakfast, lunch, and dinner 3 times a day, and it was very barbaric. It was like a cattle call, and they were told to sit in the dining rooms and not move because they had to keep control, because it's like maybe 20 staff to 200 patients kind of thing. So it was like very controlled. And then that functioned like that for maybe 50 years until the late 60s,
or so, and then Governor Nelson Rockefeller wanted to institute more humane ways of feeding the mentally ill, so he closed this structure and had us all eating on the wards, family style. It was much better. And then this was storage space for a storage facility for like 20, 30 years where they stored all the straitjackets and all the other ephemera of a mental hospital. And then Dr. Martin saw this building, liked it, and said, can we have it? And they said, sure, take it. Back when they could do that, give away buildings, you know. And it just turned into this after 20 or 30 years, so.
It was the end of the world. That's basically what it was. It was the apocalypse. And I was seeing things and hearing things, and I'm on my way home, and I'm jumping on and off the train because I'm getting a flood of vibrations and what I think are voices from the people on the train, so I can't take it anymore, so I jump off stop after stop after stop because I just couldn't stand being in a closed train taking in all of this information. When people talking to you, mind reading on the subway, you asshole, why are you wearing that? You accept or you assume that it must be real. And that's the difference between insanity and not. When you believe it and you buy into it and it becomes the reality. My major break was 20 years ago when I lost my mom and accidentally, the thing happened. But I've had breakdowns. My last one was like 1998. That was my last big break. I finally was put on the injection, which has changed my life. But I've had 2 or 3 in between where I'd come off the medication out of protest because something happens in the hospital that kind of screws with that kind of shakes my confidence in the hospital. I said, I'm not going to take your medication. And then I flip out. Or 20 years ago, while I was still in the hospital, I smoked marijuana for the last time. I'm celebrating my 20th anniversary this September. But I had to tease that out. You have to kind of figure, can I really smoke again? And then you smoke and you flip out, okay, I can't smoke again. So there have been episodes within the last 20 years. The last was 13 years ago, but there have been episodes. And it's like a brain damage, like a recurring brain damage. So you don't forget.
But when you write a song like Finally Gone, you're putting yourself in a place.
I'll never forget it. Yeah. I'll never forget it. It'll always be with me. Yeah. And I'll always doubt myself. I'll always wonder, when's the medication not going to work? Yeah. You know? And that's a scary thought, but that's one of the main thoughts I guess I have to deal with.
Depression, for sedation, suicidal ideation, please. Won't somebody make a pill that'll make my brain sit still but doesn't make a zombie out of me? Depression, for sedation, suicidal ideation, please. Won't somebody make a pill that'll make my my brain sits still, but doesn't make a zombie out of me. Walking aimlessly through New York City, who am I? Sleeping in the subway, the brothers sing me a lullaby. Everybody knows that I'm the kind who wasn't very kind to his own mind. Funny how you never miss it till it's finally gone. Funny how you never miss it till it's finally gone. Funny how you never miss it till it's finally gone.
Closing for lunch! Closing for lunch! Closing for lunch! Everybody out! Closing for lunch!
I realized I did something wrong immediately. In trying to hold her down in a crucifix position and perform an exorcism, because I thought she was possessed by Satan and a witch, or turned into a witch by Satan to undo whatever heavenly plans that I thought were supposed to be happening, of which I was supposed to be integral to. In holding her down, and just trying to take a moment to think my way through it, because I didn't know how to do an exorcism and it wasn't working because she was still, I put my knee on her chest and I didn't know my own strength or my own weight, and her chest collapsed. So she died instantly, and I jumped up immediately and I said, oh, I knew I did something wrong. So I spent like an hour or two trying to create a spell to redress the whole thing, going around her body, semicircle, counterclockwise, inhaling the alphabet. But it didn't work, and so I took my brother's car, because she had an apartment in Canada, and she spent a lot of time in Canada for many years, doing landscaping work and so forth. And I assumed that if she were dead, or that maybe her spirit or her soul would be in Canada, and I'd find her in Canada. And we could reunite, and we could do something to kind of redress whatever happened. So I took the car and went to Canada, or drove to Canada, but didn't make it. Somewhere on Nyack, I just thought to myself, do you know what you left? Do you know what you did? Do you know what you did? And I realized, wow, there is no spirit in Canada waiting for me, and there's only something I'm running from. And so I was so distraught, I wrenched the wheel of the car, and I drove off the road. And I didn't care. And I was picked up by the fire department, kicking and screaming, because a white guy shows up at your passenger side window with an axe, while Satan's after you. So you just think, okay. But so he crashed the window and he drags me out, and I'm screaming. And they dragged me screaming to a hospital because they figured, they didn't know what, they just thought it was a crash. And then when they found the reefer in the car, they said, aha, we got him now. And so they handcuffed me. And when I realized that not only was I a criminal because I was DWI, but that I was crazy, they didn't take me to jail. They took me to Rockland Psychiatric Center, which was like right up the road. It's amazing. I was right there. And put me into a wheelchair, which I thought was nice of them. And it was like a long, dark gray hallway. And the attendant looked like Boris Karloff. And the two cops were on either side, and he's wheeling me in. I thought, this is nice. Then they wheeled me into a blue soft room, a blue padded cell, and they wrestled me into a straitjacket. And that wasn't so nice. And they gave me a shot, and I fell out. And woke up like a couple hours later in a full sheeted straitjacket, like a full sheet. And then it was kind of woozy and drifted in and out of that. And then kind of drifted in and out of consciousness for like a week while I was in Rockland, until I kind of came to a considerable level of sanity again and realized I did a bad thing and I need to confess to somebody. So I found a social worker who looked like my grandmother. And I thought she was my grandmother, actually. You know, I was like crazy, but not so crazy, but still crazy. So I told her I think I killed my mother and I live at this address and go check it out. And she looked so disgusted. I'll never forget that. She's an elderly old black woman. She looked like, I'll never forget the look on her. I've seen that look many times over the years. Whether you were getting at, if it were like the realm of the spiritual, I've cogitated that, I've thought about that. And maybe there is like a level, which I kind of imagined in my mind when I got sick at one point, because I kind of had several breakdowns. And at one point I kind of imagined that there's a level, and when you get sick, or when you actually not get sick, but get well, in a weird sense, you elevate, your mind elevates and peaks, just like kind of like surfacing from the water. And you get to see a whole other reality. And that's certainly how it felt or feels for me when I get sick. But with that whole other reality are things that you're not used to, and things that you're not comfortable with, and things that scare the hell out of you, that I'd rather not deal with, even if that is a spiritual realm. I've peeked behind the curtain, and it's scary. It's intense, and it's scary too. It's very scary. Especially where it led me, you know, that's the worst part. Had I just gone crazy and ended up in a hospital for a couple of years or a couple of months or whatever, I may still be smoking pot and still be not taking my meds and still flirting with the unreal or the other realm. But considering it took me, I lost my mom, I lost my family as a result, I lost everything. I came to the museum in 1992.
How long had you been at Creedmoor?
Maybe a month.
Yeah.
And I quickly got escorted privileges to come escorted with a staff member. And they saw I was doing drawings on the ward. They said, "Oh, you're an artist, you might like to live in the museum." I said, "Okay, show me." And I started crying, I bawled like a baby when I walked in the door. And it was only just the upstairs at first, not even the downstairs. Downstairs was storage space. But it was so much like my family home. The jungle room, the art space, my family house was really like a museum in itself, actually, the way my mom decorated it. So it was just like, I was home again, and I cried like a baby.
Superman song. Are we ready, everybody? Girls?
Identity. My identity as a mentally ill patient, my identity as a black man, my identity as a man. There's so many different tropes and so many different paths that you could follow to find your own identity that I guess being a superhero and wearing a mask and having an alter ego just kind of clicked in for me at a very early age. And it just stays with me. And it's helped me kind of get through. Separation of self, schizophrenia. It's kind of helped me survive a lot of things in a strange way. There's more.
What?
There's more.
There's more. Oh, geez. These are all you?
Yeah.
Good. Sick work. Sick work.
Thank you.
So awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And look at Joe Biden. Oh my God.
I don't ever want to be sick again. But then, there's also the allure of madness, the allure of putting on the jumpsuit again. By that, the jumpsuit, I mean, there was a period when I thought I was a superhero. And my father comes back from the dead, he steps out of a gigantic globular spaceship and he hands me a garment box and it's got a blue star-spangled suit. Superstar was my name. Like Jesus Christ Superstar, because I am the incarnation of Christ. It's a whole interwoven thing. And I get a blue suit. I get to be the superhero I was going to be when I was a kid. And when I get sick, every time I get sick, it picks up. It's like a serial. Yeah. And years have gone by, but it picks up right after the last cliffhanger. And everything that happened in between is all a part of the cliffhanger. Yeah. And I laugh about it because it is alluring.
It must be seductive.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. And you think you're superstar. You think you're Superman. You think you're. Even though you never get the superpowers, but you really hope you can. You really wish